Click the links, join channel here over at Subscribestar. So, Patty Jenkins, how did she get into Hollywood? Well, she's, in her 50s now, but go back 30 odd years. She was skinny and she had a big rack, and that goes a long way. So, she's making some comments about women not winning awards and something stupid about diversity at the Oscars and no women were nominated for Best Director. Is anyone ever, like, anyone? I know they're in an echo chamber. I know they're way deep in an echo chamber, and nobody ever just takes them aside and goes, "Why don't you guys try sucking less and make something that finds an audience?" Because diversity doesn't sell a movie. It's kind of weird that you're 50 and you think it's somehow probative and relevant as to the return on investment for movies. So there's a fundamental schism between our worldviews here, and the divide just keeps growing daily, because the sex or ethnicity of the party who's making the movie, it's fascinating to talk about. Somebody came from Cambodia and the killing fields, Khmer Rouge or something. It's like, talk about that in an interview after the movie is made, but it's not relevant to the quality of the movie. It's an interesting fact to talk about, maybe, but it's like, why would you give somebody extra points for their sex or what part of the world they're from, which is what she seems is what she's implying, but what a lot of the left seems to legitimately be on board for, where they think those things make the movie better. It's like when you swap out the industries to car racing, Formula One. It's like, does it make a Toyota faster than a Honda if the automotive engineers come from a different part? I guess the case would be Japanese, but you know what I mean. It's like it doesn't make sense in any other industry. It's like you're saying the color you paint the car is going to make it go faster. So it sounds like Patty Jenkins wants to have affirmative action for women, which, if you've been paying attention to Hollywood over the past few years, that's the only thing that it can explain. There's about a half a dozen movies over the past 5 years that you look at it, and there's Hollywood's had a fair amount of bombs lately. So here's the thing you got to understand about these like, by bombs I don't mean movies where they do the best job they can and they roll the dice and they expect it to do well. I mean movies where they know the probability is it's not going to do well, like Elizabeth Banks, Charlie's Angels, or the Terminator movie. Something like Black Widow. That could have been an okay movie, but Charlie's Angels and the Terminator movie, was it Terminator Part 6? Anyone could have looked at those movies and told you, yeah, you're not going to see your money back on these movies. Or the Buzz Lightyear movie with Chris Evans and without Tim Allen. It's like, well, Tim Allen is known for the role. Or what was the other movie called, Strange World, where I think it openly had a mixed tribe BLT characters. And it's a family friendly movie, but the kids are BLT. That doesn't make sense. Like, I know you're in this kind of Hollywood echo chamber, but most of America does not identify that as family friendly. You're going to lose money on this. Istaphobe says what? So you lost $150 million on that movie. Keep in mind, that Panda movie they made, they lost $165 million on that movie also. The coming of age story, that it was just a little too weird, a little too Epstein-y feeling, just a little too subversive. Oh, it's delightfully wicked and subversive. We don't want to hear that when you're talking about kids. You want to do something wicked with adults. Say, knock yourselves out. Be as kinky as you want. But it's only Hollywood that they combine these things with kids. It feels like you're really kind of focusing on the kids' sexuality there. Most people want to leave that between them and the family, and not between these parasites in Hollywood who are focusing on this kind of stuff. And that movie lost $165 million. Anyway, so here's the thing you gotta and Hollywood's just, I don't want to Fed post here, but like I wonder if at some point people are gonna get the torches and pitchforks out. So here's the thing you have to understand about these idiots is they flat out don't understand the concept of merit. That's why they babble about equal outcome, i.e. communism, and not equal opportunity, which means that movies are literally nothing more than propaganda to them. The problem is that humans, and prepare for yourself for some hate speech here, humans are not equal. They're not fungible. So if you guarantee an equal outcome, then you're going to have incompetent people next to masters of their craft. It's only Amerifats who are so stupid that they've been brainwashed by globalists to just repeat this nonsense without ever stopping to think about it. People are not equal. She was sleeping so quietly, and then as soon as I start making the video, she starts getting reckless. People are not equal. No matter what the insane globalists babble about in their Marxist doublespeak, you know they're lying, because when their lips are moving, they're lying. Eventually, people have to awaken to this cultural Marxism and start talking about it. In regards to movies, you get absolute cancer. Perhaps you remember Wonder Woman 84 came out, I think late 2019 or 2020, early, when the Wu flu came out. So it's, it was a perfect storm, a bad perfect storm for them. It sucked. It was nobody liked the movie. It was 2.5 hours where every bad character was blonde haired. Seriously, if you don't believe me, you can go watch the movie, and every time you see a potential for an antagonist, slow the movie down and take a close look. It's literally in every freaking scene. It's really crazy when you start noticing this stuff in Hollywood. It'll take you down that rabbit hole, and then you go start watching They Live over and over again and taking notes. So their hatred is next thing you know, you'll be on Gab and Telegram. Join us. Their hatred is pretty open. Anyway, so you got a situation where you got two movies, and one is, say, slightly better than another, but one is made by an Irishman and one is made by an Asian woman. Well, to the Hollywood people, the woman movie gets the award. That's how they think, because they're commie globalist vermin who destroy everything they touch. It's why they keep spending money on girl power, poxwalks, cancer, and it loses $100 million. Then they call the audience a bunch of Hugo Boss types who didn't buy their narrative films, which might be true, but it still doesn't sell the movie. It doesn't matter who your audience is any more than it matters who your directors are. What matters is the product and whether or not you got a contractual exchange here, money for this movie. That's ultimately the only thing that matters. They mentioned the Woman King getting overlooked in this interview. What exactly? I mean, you really put Hollywood in a bad position with the Woman King, because what exactly were they supposed to do with something this freaking bizarre? The English and the French were trying to stop the Dahomey tribe from trading people, but the women who made the movie turned it around to say that the Dahomey tribe actually wanted to trade rubber trees or something. In other words, Hollywood lied to blame the French and English because they just couldn't accept the reality that the Dahomey were the bad guys and the Europeans were the good guys. The Europeans were the ones who were working to end slavery. Europeans didn't create slavery, but they did fight to end it, at least where they could. It's still ongoing in some areas of the world today. So if the Woman King had won awards, it would have brought attention to the insanity of the movie and how stupid the movie is, and how out of this world deluded their supporters have to be to think that any more attention drawn to this movie. I mean, in the hubris of these people and the lack of self-awareness will just blow your tits off. And they're very stupid people making the movie and supporting the movie, because I went and I researched the history of the tribe and that period of time. And the Dahomey tribe, well, they love trading people, and they also like the little touch of human sacrifice, and deleting POWs, and a little bit of cannibalism. So good luck making that movie. You're not going to see a movie about that, but it probably would have been a more honest, real. And the thing is, with periods, things like that, those kind of historical pieces, you just got to lean into it and just tell the story. It's like people understand that, that's what people did at different parts of their history. It's like, that's part of the human experience. So, dear Patty Jenkins, women should stop being woke and start making movies that connect with the audience, instead of thinking that diversity is a selling point, which, to be fair, it might or might not be. If you have an audience that wants to see support their own ethnicity or sex for some reason. All right, fair enough. That might actually be a selling point. But I mean, it doesn't go to the merits of the movie. This what's between someone's legs is not it's not relevant to the movie. Like, who works? Is it? Oh, it's a woman, female mechanical crew who worked on the Honda race car, and it's a male crew who worked on the Ford NASCAR. It's like, oh well that doesn't matter what car won. Oh, the car won and one car didn't. Well, that's the only thing that matters, not the people who worked on it. You can congratulate them afterwards. I mean, the people who worked on it matter, but like their sex doesn't matter. Or like, oh no, this group of people came from Laos, and this group came from Scotland. Okay, but what car won, you effing idiot? Like, why do you think these things are relevant? Oh, because we're cultural Marxists and we just destroy everything we touch. Yeah, and it's important for more people to call these parasites out. Anyway, Patty Jenkins. Oh, so she's not getting Rogue Squadron is no longer in development. Yeah, because they saw Wonder Woman 84. They're like, holy cow, we don't want anything to do with Patty Jenkins. But I will say, I think Star Wars has got a bunch of stuff where its schedule is slowing down because they're having these streaming issues where Andor, Star Wars, and Mandalorian, and all these other, there's a bunch of other Star Wars shows, streaming shows that just nobody's watching because they're really woke. I mean, they're just, I love saying woke because the left wing hears that and they just get more and more upset about it because the reality is this stuff is not selling. They go, Andor Star Wars is the best Star Wars out there. Like, no, it's not. It's woke cancer. Oh, well, yeah, you're just Hugo Boss. Yeah, whatever. But are people watching the show? No, they're not watching it, but you're still a whatever, some straw man version of whatever they have to say in their world to tilt it at windmills, where everyone who disagrees with them is a threat to their democracy or some BS. Anyway, like, comment, subscribe, and see you guys all next episode.